Thank you so much for hopping on. It's finally like an honor and a privilege, and I'm very happy and excited to record. Yeah, just talk about our like experience working together. I would just open it up for you. I'll just ask you, hey, like tell us about Connect the Doc. How long have you been at this, and what does the company actually do today? We'll take it from there.
Yeah. So, and I'll also kind of weave you guys into the
Yeah.
conversation and the story, right? So ConnectedDoc started in 2011 as an online appointment booking platform. We spent a lot of time and money trying to build that business, and ultimately it failed. Hold on, I need to turn my phone off. It failed, and we had to pivot. So we pivoted to a reputation management company where we were helping our dental and medical clients get mostly like Google reviews to boost their visibility on Google, both organically in the maps and then now with ChatGPT. That was going pretty well, and when we collaborated on our new like AI SEO platform where there's a lot of like AI development and I don't know what kind of AI you
I'll
guys
help
have.
you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Right? So let's take it from the top, right? I think the AI visibility platform is exactly where I would like to focus, a lot of our
Okay.
conversation based on. And I would like to understand, is it fair to say that this was the first truly AI native product in the company's history?
Um, Yes and no. So there were some things that we were doing from an AI perspective related to like data and machine learning specific to reviews and workflows and implementation of a specific workflow for a specific group of people at a specific time, where the ultimate goal was like maximizing the number of reviews that our clients would get based on some type of workflow, whether it was, do we send an email? Do we send a
Yeah.
text message? Do we send this UI UX or that UI UX? But it was a very small project compared to the scale of what we worked on together for the other
Makes
one.
sense. Makes sense. And you have been in the dental space since 2011, right?
Yeah.
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 So what made you decide that you needed to move on to AI right now? Because there was a similar wave in 2016. Why now? Why 2025, 2026?
Um, wow, that's a good question. So I think for me, like I think of AI in two different ways. So I think way number one is like how do we use AI to expedite some of the features and functionalities that we want to pump out to our clients from a software development perspective.
Hmm.
And then you've also got like how can we use AI or like AI agents to do or solve a task for the specific client.
Hmm.
And I felt we were getting to a place where I wanted both of those for our company. Like I wanted us to be more efficient from a development perspective, but I also wanted to be able to help our clients in ways that we weren't currently helping them,
Hmm.
where the only logical or reasonable thing for us to build was something that involved these agents, right?
Yeah.
Doing chores or tasks or assignments for our clients.
That makes sense. And you have
Yeah.
got your own team, where you have your own internal tech team. But what made you not just have them build this out in-house?
Yeah, so I will say like my tech team is very knowledgeable in the current stack that they've developed our software in, but I will say we were a little bit slower to adopt some of the AI tools and functionality. Since working on our project together, it's kind of lit a fire under the rears of our team where they're starting to use more AI from both a development perspective and their way of thinking is more AI focused, but a lot of that has to do with the speed, the quality, and the ability that you guys had when it came to building out this product of ours where the dev team was like, okay, if they can do it and if they're working on it this way, like
Yeah.
we okay, like we get it. Like
Yeah.
we need to do it too, right?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And so when we were starting the project, right, you would have had certain expectations, not just in terms of working with an outside team on a project, but also in terms of um, timelines, right? Timelines and how the general pipeline and workflow of working. So can you tell me just a little bit about your experiences trying to pull off similar initiatives before our working together? What were they like? How long did they take? I'm just trying to understand the before scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a tough question to answer because I don't necessarily think it would be fair to my own dev team um, to comment on some of the things when there's a lot of stuff that's like outside of their control. So I would say that like one of the biggest challenges that I think so specific to our company, I can only speak to us, but like we are a non-funded tech company.
Yeah.
$0 of funding, 100% bootstrapped, very, very small, like 3 to 4 person development team, right? And even if, let's say, we define a sprint saying, hey, we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 during the sprint, we have no control over the unknowns that surface with clients, with data issues, with the current developments, with bugs that populate. Um, so, like, even if we wanted to get a bunch of stuff done, just the unknown sometimes prevent us from being able to do things at a certain speed. And if we were a bigger company, I'd imagine there'd be like some people that kind of take care of like the maintenance and the management of a platform. And there'd be other team members whose only job is like build new stuff, right? We don't have that luxury, right? And so um, I would say our speed historically and without using AI for development, I would say it was on definitely on the slower end. I'd say it's high quality, but very slow for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, with all the, with all the unknowns that pop up. And I would say when we worked with you guys, because you didn't get distracted with all these other
Certainly.
issues that any tech company might have within a platform, the speed at which you guys were able to go from like 0 to 100, I would say it was really good.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. And you also might have worked with other external teams before, with other freelancers before, not your internal team. And you talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, over the last.
Yeah, not so much on the development side of things. It's
Yeah.
mostly been, I mean, maybe we have in the past, but it's mostly been third party from like a marketing or a growth
Got it.
perspective. Off the top of my head, I
So was the
can't
first
think
time,
of.
basically one of the first times you took that leap of faith that hey, let's
Yeah,
bring in someone else and try to see where they how it works out.
totally. And I will say, like, even just thinking through that first project that we did was, for me, that was a big step because I had never disrespected my own development team in the way that,
Yeah, yeah.
at the end of the day, like, the team is really excited and really happy to be working with you as well because they know that their rears aren't on the line. They're going to be with the company for a long time. It's not like you're replacing our current staff. You're augmenting our team. You're providing a skill set, either yourself or with some of your employees that
Yeah.
maybe our team doesn't have or know. And the collaboration side of things, I think is quite
We'll touch on
helpful.
that. Yeah, we'll touch on that also.
Yeah.
But I think again, as you said, right? Even in larger companies, we have observed the same thing where you have the core engineers and they have bugs and then there's backlog of features, right? But rarely is there an extra team which is just sitting aside to see what the competition is doing and implement things in a few in under a quarter. That's just like even if you were big, you just put all your engineers on the features that you have at hand. So it's not like just a small company problem that happens mostly in companies of like all sizes. So
Yeah. And like, we look at our competitors who have thousands of developers, right?
yeah.
Like we're talking about, companies that are worth probably $1 billion. And like I get notifications on the new functionality that they're building. And it's like, how is a company that's got so many developers not pumping out more fun? But it's a long process. Like it's hard once you have a platform, it's really hard to continue to expand on it.
Yeah, that makes a complete sense. And actually working together, right? What was that like in a sense of I think we talked a little bit about the timelines. I'll just briefly touch on them. I'll not talk about the full build where we are at right now, but I'll say for the MVP, maybe you can talk a little bit about the urgency. I know we had a conference, we had to do something like.
Yeah, so I think it's important to talk about the product a little bit, right? So the theory that I have right now, and we've kind of touched on this, is that as more AI becomes used by all these companies, the secret sauce, if you will, is going to be how does the product tie into the narrative of the sales pitch and the value proposition, right? And so the we had a trade show that had there was a starting date of the trade show in March, and this is what 2026. And I think we started in what January or December. Like it was
It is
a
like, yeah,
tight
yeah,
it
it's
was a
like
tight window.
5 or 6
Um,
wrong. Yeah.
Five, yeah. So and so, given that we were in an environment or a space where we were hopefully going to get a lot of foot traffic from our, ideal buying persona,
Yeah.
we wanted to have a very interactive product and demo to to showcase at this trade show. And so that's why there was a very, very quick turnaround that we required in order for us to do this, because we wanted to test that out. Now, other companies might have different timelines, whether that's like shareholder meetings or investors or, like whatever the reason is, or even just keeping up with the competitors, right? Because now so much AI, so many competitors, so much stuff happening. So yeah, you guys did a great job. Hit your bonus, if you will.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely right. Yeah, I forgot
yeah,
about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had
you
that.
got to dangle a little carrot. And
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
some of the other companies that you work with will do the same. But
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, that makes sense. We actually had a performance based or like a contingent based pricing where if we hit the thingy, it was one price. If we didn't, it was like lower.
yeah,
We
exactly.
hit that. Yeah. So amazing. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Let me
Well,
ask you. Yeah,
yeah,
continue.
go for it.
No, no, I'll like go first. I have a
Well,
question.
I think it's important like to talk about that a little bit, right? Because it's like at the end of the day, like when you're working with a third party, contractor or a third party agency, it's like there's really no way to like guarantee that something's going to get done on the timeline that you want it to get done, and that's fine. But I think it's a great idea that if you have an actual like if you have a real deadline to get something
Yeah.
done, you the business owner should be totally willing to pay a premium for you hitting a milestone or a bonus. Like I think that's a great idea, right? So, anyways,
Makes sense. Yeah. After we had hit the tight timelines, were there
yeah.
any places where you expected any corners to be cut, to get cut? But do you think there was like anything that was there were shortcuts taken? Were there any places where you expected this might happen? And did you see anything like that, or is what it was, or was it fairly up to the standard where you needed it to be?
No, it's definitely up to standards, but I also think that like when I think of shortcuts, I don't actually think of that as like maybe a negative, the way that I don't know. I was getting that the way that the question was phrased, it was more of a negative. I think it's all like I think it's
Yeah.
truly important to have an MVP
Mhm.
and to to really really test things out. And if there's a way to test something out by taking a shortcut, getting proof of concept, and then once you know that something's working the way that you are imagining it, then you take the longer route to do it very very properly, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm personally okay with that mindset.
Yeah.
So I see that as a positive, but I think in your guys's case, I don't see any. I mean, you guys worked very quickly, so I whether those are shortcuts or just you guys doing
The
a really
normal
good job
road,
with
right?
long
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Overall, yeah, very very happy, and
Yeah. That
and
makes
obviously
sense.
we're yeah
We'll continue to work together. Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah exactly.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what was it like working and interacting with the different roles that go on instead of in a typical software development life cycle, right? You have product management, you have the design, you have the actual engineering, and you have interacted with I think 3 to 4 people now from our company, even when I'm not there sometimes, right? So what was that experience like? How was it communicating with them across the different roles and the company skill set across these different areas, AI, web design, product, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, a couple true statements. So I have interacted with multiple people on
Yeah,
your team without you, right? But that's also pretty different than how I operate with our internal development team. So with my internal development team, I have a little bit more time
mm,
to walk through like my idea, my concept, and like what I'm imagining, and letting them come up with like how do we solve this specific problem for Nadeem, right? I think when you work with a third party firm, you don't necessarily have that much luxury in doing that because you got to scope out the project. Otherwise, you're going to end
yeah,
up doing a bunch of scope creep, right? So, um, I think we did a good job of really trying to get like what is the end outcome that we're looking for,
mm,
right? What are these theatrical components that are going to help with the demo? And once you guys had the initial kind of version up, it was easy for me to go through it and be like, no, that needs to change, that needs to change, and like, let's do this, let's do that. And you guys fix that all very quickly. Um, but I will say I was significantly more involved from a time perspective working with your team
yeah,
than I would be working with my team. But things get done quicker, so I'm okay with that.
yeah. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And let's talk about when things broke. I think there was one time things went really bad. So maybe you can touch on that. But like, how was it handled? What happened? Like, oops. Not we don't have to dig into specifics. It's up to you.
I'm happy to jump into the
Oh
specifics.
yeah,
It's a good lesson
yeah,
for everyone. So we
yeah,
had a what we call an API key leak.
yeah.
Um, Google had without telling us changed the permissions of a API key that was locked to our domain. And they didn't tell us that they had unlocked it, and it became somehow made public, and we had no idea. We racked up, $15,000 bill in an
Yeah.
hour. And then we figured out that this was happening. We stopped or paused the API key, and we said, "Hey, Rowan, is this you guys? Like, we want to make sure
Tell me
that
the
it's not."
timelines, right? I want to understand like what it was. I think Saturday night for
It
you,
was a
right?
Friday. It was a Friday night where I'm on like Pacific time in
Yeah.
Canada, and I think I got the notification from my lead developer at, I want
Mm.
to say like 10:45, and I think
Oh
I
shit. Yeah.
messaged you at 10:50,
Yeah.
and you were on a Zoom call with like three of your soldiers at like 10:55. So
Yeah.
it was a very, very quick response, which hats off to you and your team. And I wouldn't even know how to contact my staff on the weekend. And like, there's no alarm bells that I
There's
can
no
sound,
laws. Yeah.
right?
It's like that. We are the outlaws. It's fine. No labor laws. Let's go. Just like call them.
Yeah, well, we have those, and I don't like if that. First of all, if that incident had happened at call it 12 a.m., we would have probably racked up $1 million. I mean, they were billing ten
Yeah.
thousand dollars every couple minutes. I don't know what they were doing, but like it was a lot of money in a short period of time. So if that had happened a little bit later, I don't think we would have even been notified until the next day, right?
Yeah.
So um yeah, so that sucks. But yeah, you guys did a really good job of responding, jumping on the call. Obviously, it wasn't anything that you guys had. It had nothing to do with our API keys with
Yeah.
you and your company. But that shit happens, and it's part of it's part of running a tech company, and just all of us have to keep our eyes and ears open for these types of things.
Yeah, yeah, that makes complete sense. And yeah, on the call, I was incredibly like mad. I was like, who leaked the key, man? Like, who on our team leaked the key? I
Yeah,
was just so like pissed off. I really thought like it was something on, and I was like, if it is something on our end, like we will take care of it. That was my position,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
you made that abundantly clear on the phone call, and I was
yeah,
resistant because stuff happens, it's part of life.
yeah,
We put our best foot forward, and if a mistake happens, right? So,
yeah.
but no, you offered to cover the cost, like you were very, very good, and fortunately, it wasn't you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Thankfully for me,
so
damn, that would have been my entire. It would have been so much money. That's crazy. But oh,
yeah,
cool. Let's talk about the results, right? Let's wrap it up. Talk about the
yeah,
results. We built the platform. I think two, two, 2 months now. It's been 2 months, more or
it's
less.
2 months. Yeah, and I don't know how much we've talked. There's still a lot of like fine tuning that we need to do. So candidly speaking, it's been a phenomenal tool from a sales perspective. So that's good. And it checked off the box where it's like, hey, this is exactly what we wanted to
Yeah.
show during our demos and our sales. There's still definitely some training we need to do on the AI, and like it needs to learn a little bit better, which we built in like little mechanisms. A lot of the stuff that I'd like to do differently or change or modify, it's kind of on me to tell you, and I haven't even done that yet. We've just been so busy trying to like sell the product that we haven't had a chance to really, really like put our energy into like making the product perfect. But I'm a believer that in order to take that next step with like perfecting the software, we need to have like product market fit to make sure people want to spend the money on the software, right? I don't want to put you through unnecessary work, right? And so yeah, I think it's a bit of a slow. The sales have been great, but I think the ramp up period on our end is definitely something that we can improve on. And yeah, and we have our monthly maintenance package with you
Yeah.
to
Great.
to fix that. Yeah,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
to keep
And
tweaking it.
and in terms of what you see for the CTDI platform looking ahead, right? If you were to speak in terms of ROI, what do you think? What are you expecting? What are your projections? Let's say in the next 6 months from now, in terms of ROI, do you have anything? What are you in
Yeah,
thought?
it's real. Honestly, it's so hard to tell. So I think for us, there were like two reasons for doing it. One is we could sell more subscriptions of the actual application and increase our recurring revenue, our ARR for that particular SaaS product. And then there were some things where we were manually doing it, which in our company would be considered like agency revenue, which
Yeah.
we wanted to convert over to SaaS revenue so that our enterprise value increases. And so I think we're, slowly but surely we're moving our clients over and making sure that we capture that revenue, label it as SaaS revenue as opposed to agency revenue. So that's been really helpful for us. Um, but I also, yeah, I don't, we don't, we, I wish there was a better answer for you where we could say, for every hundred thousand
Yeah.
dollars we spend, we get $1 million of ARR. But
Yeah.
we don't have that number. It's very, very up and down from a lead gen perspective when we're working with like dentists. And yeah, so I don't have an ROI for you, but it's gonna pay off, that's for sure.
Oh, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And in terms of describing our relationship, right? Like how would you describe it? Like
We're
vendor
friends, I'd
partner,
say.
like okay.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I'd say, yeah, partner, right? Like that would be the word that I would use. Technically on paper, you're a contractor or you're a vendor, but like to me, anybody that's helping me with the growth of my business, they're a partner of mine, right?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I see us as partners. I communicate with you as if you're a partner, not as if you're a vendor, or at least I hope that's how it's coming across. Um, yeah, and it's not just you. I want to treat everybody like that. That's
Sure.
just who I am, and hopefully
Makes
you
complete
feel
sense.
that.
No, no, I do, I do.
Yeah,
I just have to ask it. I have a list of questions from ChatGPT. I'm
I
like,
know, I
okay,
know, I know.
okay, I have to ask. I'll ask them, right? So that's the way I'm supposed to go with it. So okay, last question. If there, this is going to be sent to someone who's on the fence in the sales process. So my question is, if there is someone watching this and they're on the fence and they're not sure about, hey, will an outside team be able to work on my own software? Like get not faster than my own internal team, but essentially get to the result faster because of the lack of constraints that they don't have that an internal team has, right? So
Yeah, I
what would
see
you
the
say?
question. So the first way that I would think about that is there a way to get the answer to the question without interfering or interrupting like what you're currently doing? So if you need to build a separate application on the side to build the trust, to find out how the working relationship is, like that could be a very easy first step where once you're happy with the product, you feed it through an API and get it into, whatever platform you've already got built. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of like, the whole like crawl before we walk and walk before we run kind of idea. I think you can build a standalone product that can be seen as a product or seen as like a module. And I think that's a really easy like first step. And then once you're happy with it, I think that you just start building right into their ecosystem, right? That's the advice that I would give somebody.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say like the speed, the quality, the bug fixing, the even the brainstorming, like what Manan was doing with like the high
Yeah, so
fidelity
yeah.
mock-up. It's like we had a really good idea very quickly what things were gonna look and feel and operate like, and it made it easy for us to just pull the trigger and be like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That works, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah, I forgot to touch on that at all, but I think Manan and the team, Manan, Pinak, I think it was Lins, Sandesh, and Suhaib as well. So like five of these, however many people I said, did an amazing job. And I think I didn't even touch on the high fidelity, but yes, you're absolutely correct. Essentially, in the
yeah,
first 3 to 4 days, I think we had a complete high fidelity version of what the platform was going to look like, and then we just ended up building that based on complete sense.
yeah.
Okay, amazing. Nadeem, I don't have any more questions. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for
Awesome, man. Well, hey, best of luck getting more new clients and converting them. And you guys do a really good job with all the stuff that you're working on for us.
yeah,
And we're excited to continue our working relationship. You
amazing.
guys have
Yeah.
been very helpful.